I've been very busy off camera. I've been collecting some additional shulker boxes from different areas around the server. I've been collecting a massive quantity of sand for projects we're going to be doing today. It appears Clumsy has been over here to collect some sponges. There's some diamonds, thanks a lot. And I've been making use of the raid farm. And it would also appear that our shop has made some diamonds. So that's 3 diamond blocks for a nether trade farm for Lego. We'll be approaching this later on in this episode. I've also been doing a lot of AFKing over at the gold farm. Look at this, 550 levels of experience. I need to be careful and I need to make sure I don't die. In that time AFKing, we made quite a lot of gold. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be trading this all the way to the piglins for today's project because we need a lot of gravel. I also made sure to populate the filters around this entire storage system, so this thing is now fully operational. Now that we've got all that out of the way, we can actually get to work on today's project. So I think it's finally time we actually do some work on the base. So recently we built the storage room, but that's not everything we're going to be doing. It's now time to actually work on the surface section of the base. Now we've got all this land to play with, that much that it's not all within the server render distance right now, and eventually I want to have all this covered with our base area. If you've watched the previous episodes, you'll know that we've been wanting to do a Star Wars themed base. Now I know what you're thinking. What I've done so far isn't exactly Star Wars themed, and yeah, you're correct there. But we're just going to be doing some experiments with different themes and stuff in this area. Also, I think I can hear something. Yeah, look at this. Wow, okay, there's a llama down there. Does that mean there's a wandering trader down here as well? I swore I heard one drink a potion. How odd. So yeah, I've been doing some planning in a creative test world, an old backup of the server, and let's just say we're going to need an insane amount of resources. This is going to be the biggest project we've worked on so far, if you ignore the likes of perimeters and stuff like that. So why don't we go and get together some resources. Obviously we've got together some sand, we've got the gravel over at the piglin bartering area, but we've still got a ton of other resources to go and collect. Alright, so this project is going to require an insane amount of cobblestone, so we need to make use of our fancy cobblestone generator. Another thing I'd like to mention, this is our starter area for anyone that is wondering, and I know it doesn't look all that good. So you know what? We're going to be coming back to this area a little bit later on in the series, and we're going to be remaking this entire thing. Also, who did that to my tree? Why? Alright, so it's going to take us a while to collect all these resources. So on screen right now you can see all the resources I need, and yeah, it is an insane amount. So I'm going to go ahead, collect those. It's going to take me a little bit, and when we come back we can finally get started on this mega base project. Alright, so we've went ahead and got all the resources collected, we've refilled our rockets and our food. We should be ready to go. Oh, there's an enderman there. Let's go and deal with him. Now, come on, die. Die. Come on, don't kill me. No. There we go. And with that out of the way, let's jump into hyperspeed build mode, get this base built, and I hope you enjoy. And there we have it, folks. We got the platform for our city finished. And I know what you're thinking, it's looking very flat. We are going to be adding more stuff to this as we work on this project. One thing I made sure to do was I've actually spawn-proofed most of this. So you may have noticed in the time-lapse I was placing some sea lanterns in the floor here, and we put them right below some carpets. And you can notice it when you're down here, but when you're flying around you can't really see it all that much, and that's exactly what I was going for with this effect. Now the plan is we're going to have a central build up on this upper platform here, and then the lower platform will be used for different buildings that will have various different uses. Another thing of note, we have these tunnels at each of the 4 corners, which let us go to the undersection. And yeah, we need to light this area up because there's a lot of mobs spawning out. No, don't kill me, please, no. One thing I'd like to mention real quick, I'd like to apologise for the quality of that time lapse. It's a little bit lower quality than what we're used to. That was just because of the sheer size of this project. It was causing some rendering problems in the time lapse. So I'm hoping to tackle that at some point in the future. But yeah, so far I'm generally happy with this project. We've done a lot in a very small part of time. And not only that, we've still got a lot more stuff to do in this area. I reckon we can get at least 30 episodes of content out of this thing, which is quite nice. Also, I need to refill my rockets. One thing of note, I was cutting down some trees when we were first starting off this project, and I got some beehives from it. Beehives, not bee nests, so maybe we should do some hun-related projects in the near future. But yeah, I think we should also take a little break from this project, because I've been working on this for quite some time, and recently I did a massive AFK session at the raid farm, so let's go over there and take a look at the resources we got from that AFK session. Alright, so I recently did a 2.5 hour AFK session at this raid farm. Also, we need to tackle this hopper thing over here. There's just way too many hoppers here, and we can really just start using water streams. But in that time, I got a lot of emerald shulkers. Wow, I think there should be 105 shulkers in here. That is quite impressive. We've also got 3 shulkers of sticks, 11 shulkers of gunpowder, 12 shulkers of glowstone dust, 11 shulkers of redstone dust, 8 shulkers of sugar, 12 shulkers of glass bottles. I really need to use these or sell them to someone. And finally, 12 shulkers of spider eyes. That is an insane amount of resources. That much that I think we've actually ran out of shulkers in the storage system. Yeah, if you look at that, there should be a shulker box there. If there was shulkers in the system, that would have been placed, so we ran out of shulkers. So we went through all of those shulkers we recovered from our base areas recently. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to craft all this stuff up because there's a lot of resources here and I need to go and deliver some emeralds to Splash. So let's craft all this stuff up and we'll see how many resources we end up with. Alright, so we got all of that crafted up and we ended up with 7 shulker boxes of emerald blocks, 3 shulker boxes of glowstone, and finally 1 shulker box of redstone blocks. That's quite a good haul. Let's go and get the emeralds, take them out and then take them back to base. Alright, so including the emeralds we already have, that means we now have 13 shulker boxes of emerald blocks. Wait, no, not 13, 12. Yeah, 12 shulker boxes of emerald blocks. Alright, so I think it's about time we work on the central building for this thing. We're not going to be building the whole thing today, we're just going to be laying out a wireframe because this is going to be quite large. Now, as you can see, we have the sea lantern grid around the outside, but it stops in the middle here because I knew when I was building this that this area would be changing rapidly once we get the original central structure planned out. Now in the middle there we have a sea lantern, and what I want is a massive circle with about a 63 block radius, and that will take us out to roughly around here. That also means that the dome itself is going to be 63 blocks tall. Since it's going to be a half dome, it's going to be fairly close to the ground. So yeah, this thing is going to be quite large. First of all, let's work out exactly where the borders of this dome are going to be, and then we can work out how we're actually going to go about doing this thing. Because yeah, I've been doing some planning, like, you know, designing it in a creative world, but I'm not entirely sure how I want to integrate this into the design of the base right now. So let's get started, you know, laying out some things and thinking ahead to the future when we eventually build this. Alright, so I've placed down some blocks to mark the edges of the circle, so this thing should be 127 blocks across. I think this is a decent size. Unfortunately, it does go into the grid of sea lanterns we laid out a little bit, but that really shouldn't have any impact on this build. Let me double check the measurements of this thing real quick. Alright, so I've done some checking and this thing is in fact 127 blocks across, so 63 blocks to each edge from the centre block right here. Now I'm going to be doing this directly on the ground because that's going to look a little bit silly. Now if you want to know what I'm planning with this central build, I recommend you go and watch Star Wars Rebels. I'm basing this build off of the Imperial City on the planet of Lothal, and what this central building is basically something that comes down from orbit and it's a central area of control for the Galactic Empire. That's what we're going to be building today. Now I'm building this thing based off of schematics and different images of the building in the show. Now while I do want to make this thing accurate, I do want to add my own personal flair to it, just to, you know, make it a little bit more unique. So yeah, we're not going to be going with the standard grayscale build. We are going to be using a mix of the different stone textures, similar to what we did with the archways and stuff down here, because yeah, I quite like those different textures. The good thing about it as well is they all have stair variants, which is going to be very, very useful. But yeah, as I was saying, since we're basing this off of something from Star Wars, let's try and make the rough guide look similar to the actual thing itself. So what we're going to need to do is we need to make this an actual circle, obviously, and we need to bring it off the ground because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on down here, which means we're going to need to remove all of this flooring here as well. But we'll do that in a later time. So what we'll do is we need to raise this by maybe, I don't know, 15 blocks. That sounds about right, and then we can actually get the half sphere constructed. Alright, so the first ring is in place, and this is actually quite large when you look at it. This is going to be an insane build once it's finished. And not only that, if we actually are able to land on this thing, there we go. Yeah, we've got some blocks on the edge to play with. I think there should be 15 blocks until we hit that quartz outline there. So that should be more than enough space to put in like turbo laser, batteries and different things like that. For the next stage of this project, we need to do the vertical rings, which is going to be a hell of a lot of fun because yeah, we need to go up 63 blocks, which means I think that means that this boulder is going to be taller than James Mountain over here, which is kind of funny. Alright, so the first vertical ring is done, and it looks a little bit strange because, well, yeah, there's nothing really here. But yeah, we've got it up to its maximum height there, so let's go and check what that is. Okay, so we're looking at about Y170 for this. Oh, that's very close to the peak of James Mountain over there. I wonder how high that is. Okay, so James Mountain is Y178. Damn, he's got to be beat by 8 blocks. You've won this time, Zame, but not for long. I will overtake you in height soon enough. Alright, so the other vertical line is in place, and yeah, okay, that gives me a better feel for the way this thing is going to look. Although it does look kind of stumpy for it being, you know, a 63 block tall half sphere. So, obviously, this is eventually going to be filled in. We're not going to be doing it right now because that's going to be a mega project in itself. So yeah, I'm going to be, you know, designing that stuff off camera. But this is going to be a little bit of a challenge to you guys, my loyal viewer base. So this is a 127 block across half sphere. What I'd like you to do is I'd like to issue you a bit of a challenge. I'd like you to design your own version of this sphere and then go into my Discord and then share it there. Because yeah, challenges are fun, and I think, you know, we can get the whole community involved with this thing. So while that's happening, what I'm going to be doing in future episodes is I'm going to be bodying up the interior of this thing first, because then that'll give me an exact feel for how big I need this to be and for how much detail I can do to the outer surface. And yeah, it'll be a lot better to record that in terms of time lapses and stuff, because yeah, if you're moving, oh, a little bit of lag spike. If we're moving around tight corridors and stuff, it can be getting very disorientating very, very fast. We're going to be following a similar method to what Splash has over there with our ship. Oh, that's new. Let's go and take a look at that. Okay, so this is an elevator that Splash did in a most recent episode. If you're interested in that content, make sure you go and check it out. In fact, not even if you're interested, go and check it out anyway because it's a really, really good video. And Splash is really good at all of the redstone stuff. In fact, we're going to be working over here in the future on a project for her ship, so make sure you stay tuned for that stuff. And damn, that's a lot of fun this is right there. So it's night time and I should probably sleep, but this is the first time I've actually came over here to take a look at this thing, and damn, it's actually really good to have a base there now. It looks fantastic. It will look even better once it's complete, but right now, it's not too bad. And with that, I think that's enough work on the base project for today. We've done a lot of stuff here today. We've got all of this platform built. We've even planned out some stuff for the future. So now, let's go and do some smaller projects around the server. So if you remember back to the beginning of the episode, we got an order for an Nether tree farm from Lego. And it's been a few days since he placed that order, and I feel bad about having these 3 diamond blocks waiting here for me and him not having the product he ordered. So next up, we're going to be working on that. Alright, so this is the design we're going to be using right in front of us. This is not my design because I'm not really comfortable designing a Nether tree farm. So I'm going with a design by the one and only N. Collier. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. You can find a link to the video where he did a tutorial on this in the description below. If you want to follow along, make sure you go and watch that. So this farm should produce hopefully 100,000 items per hour. That would be really, really nice. And it's fairly simple. So on screen right now, there is a material list for this thing. If you also want to, you know, follow along and build it. And yeah, it should only take about an hour to build. It's fairly simple. It's a bunch of pistons and 2 TNT dupers. We've done all of that before. So yeah, let's get cracking on with it, shall we? Alright, so this is the area Lego wants us to build this thing. This is his little perimeter project. He's got a witch farm and he's got a creeper farm down there. And this marking is where this tree farm is going to go. It should be a fairly quick process, only an hour to build this thing. So why don't we do this in the form of a third person time lapse. Alright, so that's the nether tree farm complete, and this is a really fun project actually, because I've never worked on I've never worked on something quite like this before. So it uses two different TNT dippers to destroy all of the stuff with a bunch of pistons, and you know what? I'm a massive fan of this design. You know what? It's that good that I might actually build it myself, because yeah, shroom lights are really nice, and I've never actually built with any of those wood types before, so it should be something we should try out in the near future. I've also noticed that LEGO started making modifications already. Obviously there isn't a source of shrooms for this farm, shrooms, fungi, whatever you want to call them, so that's what LEGO's been doing, is been making a little fungi farm for this thing. Also this thing is not exactly 100% efficient in terms of bone meal use, because it does make its own bone meal. It's about 40% efficient in that, way, so you won't need as much bone meal to actually use this thing in the long term, which is quite nice. Oh, and another thing. Let me know what you thought about that time lapse. I know it was a bit different to the one we did earlier on today, but I enjoyed it a little bit more. Alright, so now that that's out of the way, we can get to work on a little other thing. So recently our newest member, Asta, reached out to me because he was having a little bit of trouble getting started off. Well, it's towards the end of the season now, so I can completely understand that. So what we're going to do is we're going to make up a little care package and we're going to drop it off at his area. But Death, what's going to be in this care package? It's going to be all of your usual items, so some tools and different things, food, some rockets, all the stuff you need to get started off. But yeah, in order to make this, I'm going to spend some diamonds at various different shops, mainly the Books Above shop in Top Tower. But before we do that though, I thought I'd let you guys see this little addition they made to the top of the tower. This is some really nice detailing work here. And not only that, they have a satellite dish. Just look at it, it's round. That makes use of a bunch of armor stands. Yeah, that looks really, really cool. But yeah, if you want to see this getting made, or, shown off, I recommend you go and check out both Westside Boss and Alex. Links to their channels are in the description. With that out of the way, let's go and spend a bunch of diamonds. Alright, so there's all the books we've bought. That's a lot of diamonds right there, but it should be worth it. Let's get this stuff crafted up. Alright, so just finished putting together this care package and there is a lot of really useful stuff in here, so let's take a look. Alright, so we've got all of our diamond tools that we just spent a bunch of diamonds for. We've got an elytra, which is a backup of mine because I have lots of elytras, so I might as well have gave one out. Some spare netherite ingots because I had lots of ancient debris. When I say lots, I used all my ancient debris for this, but it's fine because I don't really worry about my tools all that much. So yeah, Asta, you'll be able to use this to upgrade any armour or tools you have, which is quite nice. Got some totems as well because dying is something that happens. We've got some diamond ore here. Now this is a Cell Touch pick, so yeah, maybe I should replace that with fortune now that I think about it. But yeah, there's some diamond ore to help you get some more diamonds so that you can, buy some more stuff in the shopping district. Followed by some food and some Flagellation 3 rockets. Now that the care package is made, let's go and drop this off at Asta's base. Alright, so I believe we've arrived at Asta's base. Yeah, this is his area. Alright, let's go and put the care package down over here, because I think this is an area, yeah, he frequents this place very often. Okay, so we've got Dear Asta, have this care package from Death. I think he's going to like this quite a lot. And there we have it, folks. That's another episode done and dusted. This was a really interesting episode for me to make. Obviously, it's just a usual video, but the editing style is completely different and it took a hell of a lot longer. That's why this episode was several days late, which I must apologise for. But yeah, so we're experimenting with the new editing style which we debuted in this episode. So if you have any thoughts or concerns or recommendations about it, let me know in the comments, because obviously I want to improve my content and I can't do that without your help. So you can leave a comment down below, and also if you like this editing style, leave a like, because it lets me know that this is something you guys want. And yeah, if this is something you guys are enjoying, we'll make it a part of the series going forward. I'd like to thank you all for watching this episode of the AutoCraft so far. Make sure you go and watch everyone else on the server. On the left hand screen right now, there are 2 videos, one that YouTube wants you to watch and one that I think you should watch. Make sure you go and watch them, and remember to leave a like, subscribe, and hopefully you will enjoy the videos.